The bass dies mid-beat. Crystal glasses freeze in midair as a little black girl in a torn white dress crashes into the most guarded VIP lounge in Gangnam. A room designed to keep danger out, not invited inside. Men in tailored black suits reach for their guns without hesitation. She doesn't slow down. She doesn't scream at them. She runs straight to Han-woo. Small fingers clamp onto the sleeve of the most feared man in the room. The Korean underworld king known for ending lives with a nod. Ice. Cold. Untouchable. A man whispered about like a myth people survive only once. Her chest heaves. Her eyes are wild with terror. They're beating my mom. She cries, voice breaking. Please. They're hurting her. The word mom cuts deeper than any blade. Han-woo looks down, irritation flashing. Until the soft click of beads in her braids reaches him. A sound buried with a girl he failed to save. A memory soaked in blood and regret. The room waits for the order. Drag her out. Silence her. Instead, Han-woo lowers himself to one knee. His voice is quiet. Controlled. Dangerous. Where is she? Outside, sirens rise. Inside, betrayal has already begun to move. And no one realizes that this single question has just shattered an empire. Subscribe to Love and Loyalties before the truth changes everything. Sue's God. Han-woo's convoy cuts through Gangnam like a blade. Black sedans sliding past red lights without slowing. Inside the lead car, silence presses hard. Zuri sits stiffly in the leather seat, small hands folded exactly the way her mother taught her when fear tried to take over. Her dress is still torn. Dried blood, hers or someone else's, darkens the hem. Han-woo watches her from across the car, unreadable, every instinct trained on threats that carry guns, not braids. Yet this child is the most dangerous variable he's faced in years. They arrive at one of his inner sanctums, an upper-floor residence hidden above a private member's hotel, unreachable without his permission. Guards sweep the halls. Doors seal. Only then does Han-woo crouch in front of her, eye level, voice stripped of command. What's your name? Zuri. She answers. No hesitation. My mom says names matter. He studies her. What did your mother tell you to do if something happened? Zuri glances at the corners of the room before answering. Han-woo notices. She's mapping exits already. She said bad people don't look where they think you're too small to matter. Zuri says. She said to watch their shoes. And their hands. A pause. And she said to find someone powerful. Zuri continues quietly. Someone who scares them. The Han-woo exhales through his nose. So Amara Brooks didn't just hope. She planned. Zuri slips her hand into her pocket and pulls out a folded paper, worn soft at the creases. When she opens it, Han-woo's eyes sharpen. It isn't a child's drawing. It's a map. Crude, yes, but precise. A warehouse layout. Guard rotations marked with dots. Blind spots shaded. A ventilation route circled twice in red. My mom made me remember it. Zuri says. Then she burned the real one. Something cold and impressed settles in Han-woo's chest. Amara Brooks wasn't taken because she was weak. She was taken because she was prepared. A man steps in quietly. Han-woo's head of security. Boss. We confirmed it. Amara Brooks wasn't a random grab. Rival faction. Clean extraction. No witnesses. Deliberate. Han-woo nods once. The imbalance reveals itself clearly now. He commands men who kill on instinct. He owns streets, ports, weapons. But Amara Brooks, she controls systems, timelines, knowledge that moves money and power invisibly. Different weapons. Same danger. Zuri swings her legs slightly. My mom said you wouldn't smile. Han-woo's eyes flick back to her. Did she? She said powerful men don't smile when they're scared of losing something. The words hit harder than gunfire. Minutes later, a secure message lights up Han-woo's phone. One sentence. No signature needed. Interfere and she dies before sunrise. A truce line crossed. A challenge thrown. Han-woo closes the phone slowly. Zuri looks up. They sent a threat, didn't they? He studies her again. Too observant. Too calm. Yes. What did my mom say about threats? She asks. He waits. She said they mean you're important. For the first time that night, Something like respect stirs openly in Han Wu's expression. He stands, signaling the guards to step back, then kneels again in front of her. The room holds its breath. "Zuri," he says carefully, "I don't make promises." She doesn't flinch. "My mom said people who say that usually break them." A beat. Han Wu meets her eyes. "I won't promise lightly." She nods once, accepting the terms like an adult. "I will bring your mother back," he says, "no matter who stands in the way." The vow tastes dangerous. Familiar. It's the kind of sentence that ruins men like him. Zuri's shoulders finally tremble. Just once. She leans forward, pressing her forehead briefly against his chest, grounding herself the way she was taught. "Okay," she whispers. Outside, engines idle, phones buzz, plans shift. Across the city, Amara Brooks sits bound in a cold warehouse, counting breaths, counting steps, turning pain into data, unaware that her daughter has already placed the most feared man in Gangnam directly in her path. And somewhere between power and foresight, a war has just been set in motion. Amara Brooks refuses to scream. The first rule she taught Zuri plays on a constant loop in her mind: pain is loud. Thinking is quieter. Stay quiet. Her wrists are bound to a steel chair bolted into the concrete floor. One cheek is swollen. Blood dries at her lip. The warehouse smells of rust, oil, and salt drifting in from the nearby docks. Cold enough to slow the body. Quiet enough to sharpen fear. Amara turns it into data. She counts footsteps, 4 guards on rotation. 1 limps, 1 smells of cigarettes. The 3rd never speaks. The 4th checks his phone too often. She tracks the rhythm of the lights, the hum of the generators, the echo delay when someone walks near the loading bay. Everything is a system. Everything can be mapped. A man crouches in front of her, smiling like he enjoys the sound of bones giving way. "You're wasting time," he says. "Your daughter won't remember you as brave." Amara lifts her head slowly. Her voice is calm, measured. "She'll remember I didn't teach her to surrender." His smile fades. She watches that too. Minutes later, alarms don't blare. That's the first sign something is wrong. The second is the sudden stillness. The kind that only comes before violence. Then the doors explode inward. Gunfire rips through the warehouse, echoing like thunder trapped in steel. Men shout. Bodies fall. Amara doesn't flinch. She drops sideways as the chair tips, rolling just as bullets shred the space where her head was seconds earlier. Boots hit concrete with lethal precision. A shadow cuts through the smoke. Han Wu. She recognizes him instantly. Not from fear, but from pattern. The way men part for him without being told. The way chaos bends around his presence instead of touching it. His gun moves like an extension of thought. Controlled and devastating. A red laser dot snaps onto Amara's chest. She opens her mouth to warn him. "Down." Han Wu roars. She throws herself flat as a sniper's bullet cracks through the air, missing her heart by inches. Han Wu fires once without looking. The sniper drops. Their eyes meet for the first time. Not gratitude, not relief. Assessment. He crosses the space in seconds, slicing through her restraints with a blade. "Can you move?" "Yes." Amara answers immediately. Then, after half a beat. "But we're not done." That earns his first real look at her. "They're not here just for me," she continues, already scanning the warehouse. "This place is staged. Too clean, too many exits left open." The Han Wu's jaw tightens. "You see fast. You rule fast." She shoots back. Which means someone slower planned this. Gunfire erupts again. His men engage from the perimeter. A second wave pushes in. "Traitor!" Han Wu mutters. The word carries weight. Amara follows his gaze to a familiar face stepping out from behind a stack of containers. One of Han Wu's own, smiling now, gun loose in his grip. "Boss," the man says lightly. "You came." Predictable. Amara feels the shift immediately. This isn't a rescue, it's a test. The traitor gestures upward. "You should have checked the ceiling." The timer starts. A low mechanical hum, red numbers blinking to life near the control platform. Amara's breath sharpens. "Explosives," she says. "Distributed." Han Wu grabs her wrist, pulling her behind cover as Theyre rains down. How long? She squints, calculating. Under 5 minutes. Maybe less. He stares at her. Can you stop it? Not directly, she answers. But I can redirect the damage. That's all he needs. They move together without discussion. A dangerous, wordless synchronization. She runs calculations while he clears paths. At the control terminal, Amara's fingers fly, bypassing safeties, overriding crane protocols. What are you doing? He asks, covering her as bullets spark off metal. Turning your warehouse into a weapon. A steel groans overhead. Massive shipping containers swing loose, crashing into armed men, smashing walkways, creating moving shields. Amara calls out positions. Han-woo executes without question. Trust forms in seconds. Earned, not offered. The traitor stumbles back, injured but laughing. You think this saves you? The timer drops below 60 seconds. Han-woo looks at Amara. For the first time, something unguarded flashes across his face. You should run. She meets his eyes evenly. So should you. Another explosion rocks the building. He grabs her hand. They run. Not as rescuer and captive, but as equals choosing survival together. They burst through a side exit just as the warehouse detonates behind them, fire punching into the night sky. Sirens rise in the distance. Han-woo doesn't release her hand. Then his phone buzzes. A single message from an unknown number. The girl is gone. Amara feels the world tilt. Han-woo's grip tightens. And the real war begins. The night doesn't give them time to breathe. They stumble out of the inferno into blinding white light. Headlights, floodlamps, the harsh blue, red pulse of authority. Police vehicles box them in from every direction. Guns rise. Shouts overlap. Orders are barked in clipped Korean, sharp and absolute. Hands where we can see them. Han-woo instinctively shifts, placing himself half a step in front of Amara. It's a reflex older than thought. A shield made of bone and reputation. Amara notices. And for the first time since she was taken, fear threatens to take her knees. Not for herself, for Zuri. An inspector steps forward, face carved from discipline and suspicion. His eyes flick from the smoking ruins behind them to Han-woo's blood, splattered suit. Well, he says coolly, this is quite a scene. Before Han-woo can speak, Amara moves. She straightens her spine. Lifts her chin. The blood on her face becomes irrelevant the moment her voice cuts through the chaos. My name is Amara Brooks, she says clearly, every word sharpened. I'm an American national and a registered logistics consultant operating under international contracts. I was abducted. I have witnesses, timestamps, and digital records already queued for release. The inspector blinks. She steps closer, unflinching. This man responded to a child in distress. If you detain him without cause, every embassy channel you answer to will hear about it before sunrise. Silence ripples outward. This isn't pleading. It's performance. Authority worn like armor. The inspector studies her, really studies her now, and hesitates. Just a fraction. Enough. Han-woo turns to look at her, something unreadable shifting behind his eyes. She didn't ask him to save her. She protected him. They're taken in anyway. Procedural, contained. But the cuffs are loose, the questions careful. Lawyers arrive faster than expected. Paperwork moves. Evidence complicates the narrative. By dawn, they walk free. But freedom feels hollow. Han-woo's driver waits by the car, face ashen. He doesn't meet Amara's eyes. Boss, he says quietly. The safe location was breached. The words don't land at first. Amara frowns. What does that mean? Han-woo already knows. He doesn't answer. Where is my daughter? Amara asks, sharper now. Where's Zuri? The driver swallows. She's gone. The world collapses. Amara doesn't scream. She doesn't cry. Her body simply gives out, knees buckling as if the strings holding her upright have been cut. Han-woo catches her before she hits the pavement, arms locking around her with brutal force. No, she whispers, fingers clawing into his coat. No, 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 I did everything right. I taught her everything. Her voice breaks open, raw and animal. The sound is unbearable. Han-woo holds her. Helpless in a way power has never taught him to survive. I promised her. Amara sobs. I promised I'd come back. Guilt slams into him, full force. This is his world, his war, his failure. They get into the car. His city blurs past the windows, neon streaking like wounds that won't close. Amara stares straight ahead, tears still falling, silent now. I failed her. She says hollowly. No. Han-woo answers, voice rough. You didn't. She laughs once broken. You don't know that. He does. Because he's lived it. The car stops beneath an overpass, engines idling. Han-woo tells the driver to leave. The door shuts. Silence presses in. I had a sister, he says suddenly. Amara turns slowly. She was younger, he continues. Smart. Brave. Always believed I could protect her. His jaw tightens. The confession tastes like blood. I chose a deal over her that night. Power over presence. I told myself I'd come back. He swallows hard. I didn't. Amara's breath catches. She died because I wasn't there. Han-woo finishes. Because I thought winning mattered more than watching the door. The monster bleeds. For the first time, Amara sees past the empire, the fear, the violence, and straight into the man who never forgave himself. Her voice is quiet. That's why you knelt. Yes. That's why you promised. Yes. A phone vibrates between them. Han-woo looks at the screen. His face goes still. Amara knows before he speaks. A message, he says. From the traitor. He turns the phone so she can see it. Pier 7, dawn, surrender everything, territory, routes, names. Or the child dies. Amara's hands shake, but her eyes harden. Something fierce burns through the grief. They think this will break us, she says. Han-woo locks eyes with her. They're wrong. Outside, the sky begins to pale. Dawn is coming, and both of them know. Whatever happens next will cost more than blood. Dawn arrives cold and colorless. Pier 7 stretches out into the gray water like a final question no one wants to answer. Fog clings low, swallowing sound, turning every shape into a threat. The city feels far away here. This place belongs to decisions that can't be undone. Han-woo arrives first. No convoy. No visible weapons. Just him, Amara, and the quiet weight of everything he's built. At the far end of the pier, a single figure waits. The traitor steps into view, smiling through the bruises he earned at the warehouse. One arm is wrapped tight around Zuri, a gun pressed clumsily but firmly against her small temple. She's shaking, but she's standing exactly where she's supposed to. Feet planted, eyes forward. Amara's heart stutters, then steadies. She remembers Amara thinks. She's listening. Boss. The traitor calls out. You came alone. I'm touched. Han-woo stops several meters away, hands visible, posture relaxed enough to look like arrogance. Let the child go. The traitor laughs. Still giving orders. You don't own this pier anymore. He tightens his grip on Zuri. She winces but doesn't cry. Everything you have. The traitor continues. Rotes. Accounts. Names. You kneel, you surrender it publicly, and maybe she walks away breathing. Amara takes one careful step forward. Han-woo feels it beside him, the shift of her presence, and doesn't stop her. Don't. The traitor snaps, swinging the gun toward her. Another step and Zuri suddenly speaks. My mom says when bad people talk too much, they're scared. The pier goes silent. The traitor blinks. Shut up. Han-woo's chest tightens. Amara keeps her face calm, but her fingers curl once, sharply, at her side. That's the signal she taught Zuri. I see you. You trained her well. The traitor sneers, but training doesn't stop bullets. No. Amara says evenly. But it does stop panic. She looks directly at Zuri now. Not pleading, not crying. Remember the sound, Amara says. The traitor frowns. What sound? A fairy horn blares. Deafening. Sudden. Close enough to rattle the pier itself. Zuri drops instantly, flat, just as she was taught. Han-woo moves at the same moment. The traitor fires, but the shot goes wild as his balance breaks. Amara's gun, drawn in one smooth motion, doesn't aim for him. It fires at the rusted lamppost behind him, already weakened by years of salt and wind. Metal shrieks. The lamp post snaps loose and swings down like a pendulum, slamming into the traitor's shoulder with crushing force. He screams as the gun skitters across the planks. Han-woo is already there. He hits the man hard, fast, ending the fight before it can become a spectacle. The traitor goes down, coughing blood, eyes wide with disbelief. Zuri scrambles up and runs. Han-woo drops to his knees instinctively, arms open, catching her as she collides with his chest. She clings to him with everything she has, sobbing now that the danger is real and over. "I did it," she cries. "Mom, I did it." Amara is there in seconds, collapsing down with them, hands shaking as she pulls Zuri close, pressing her face into her daughter's hair. She breathes her in like oxygen. "You did everything right," Amara whispers fiercely. "Everything." Sirens approach in the distance, closer this time. Footsteps echo from the fog as Han-woo's men emerge. Carefully, quietly, already controlling the perimeter. This ending was never going to be clean, but it doesn't need to be cruel. Han-woo looks up. The pier isn't empty anymore. Phones are raised. Cameras recording. Witnesses everywhere. He understands immediately what this moment demands. Slowly, deliberately, Han-woo releases Zuri and stands. Then, in full view of everyone watching, he steps forward and lowers himself to his knees again. This time not in private, not in shock, but in choice. Gasps ripple through the crowd. He bows his head to Amara. "To you," he says clearly, voice carrying over the water. "I owe what power never taught me." Amara freezes, heart hammering. "I built an empire on fear," Han-woo continues. "Today I surrender what it cost." He turns, still kneeling, and looks at Zuri. "And to you. I promise protection will always come before power." The moment shatters his reputation completely, and replaces it with something far more dangerous. Truth. Police arrive seconds later. The traitor is taken away. Statements are made. Deals quietly dissolve in the presence of too many witnesses. By the time the sun breaks fully over the horizon, it's over. Zuri sits wrapped in Amara's coat, exhausted but safe. She watches Han-woo from beneath heavy lids. "Mom," she murmurs. "He's not scary anymore." Amara follows her gaze. Han-woo stands alone at the edge of the pier, the fog lifting around him, his empire already shifting behind the scenes. He looks smaller somehow, lighter. "No," Amara says softly. "He chose not to be." Zuri smiles, then finally sleeps. Han-woo turns back toward them, uncertainty flickering across his face. An emotion he hasn't worn in years. Amara meets his eyes and nods once. Not forgiveness. Not romance. Acknowledgement, the war is over. What comes next will be harder. And infinitely more human. 6 months later, Gangnam still whispers Han-woo's name, but differently now. The streets under his control are quieter, cleaner. Deals still happen, but certain lines are never crossed again. No children. No collateral. No disappearances that leave mothers screaming into the dark. The dragon didn't vanish. He evolved. Amara notices the change not from headlines, but from absence. The absence of fear when she walks to her office alone, the absence of men watching too closely, the absence of chaos where structure now lives. Her company rebuilds faster than expected. Contracts return. Trust follows. She no longer survives. She leads, not because she was saved, but because she endured and chose to keep standing. Zuri thrives. She laughs loudly now, the kind of laughter that fills rooms and refuses to apologize for joy. She draws pictures again. Houses, sons, 3 figures holding hands. Sometimes she wears her beads. Sometimes she doesn't. She no longer needs armor. Han-woo appears in their lives without announcement. Not as a king, not as a threat. As presence. He shows up to school events and stands awkwardly at the back. He learns how to listen without planning 3 moves ahead. He lets Zuri braid his hair once, sitting perfectly still like defusing a bomb. Some nights, he and Amara sit across from each other in silence, sharing tea, sharing space. There are no rushed promises, no dramatic confessions. Only trust, built carefully, deliberately. Once, Zuri hands them matching bracelets she made herself. One is simple, strong. The other softer, brighter. Dragon and Phoenix, she says proudly. because you protect each other. The Hanwoo doesn't speak for a long time after that. When he finally does, his voice is steady. I thought love made people weak. Amara meets his gaze. It makes them choose. He nods. And chooses again. This isn't a fairy tale written in kisses and perfection. It's a story forged in fire, strategy, and loyalty earned when it mattered most. Because love isn't softness. It's who you kneel for, who you protect, and who you refuse to lose. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Love and Loyalties and comment which couple you want next.